Berrion, I like what you're going to talk about next here. It's life syncing. So your activity levels is important to know. How do you sync? How do we go about doing that? And I think this is so important to sort of plan ahead, knowing when things are going to come and when things are going to end.
Yeah, so I think it's really important that you master the basics of your menstrual cycle and really understand how to sync in. So knowing where you're at, for instance, but more specifically, let's say, for instance, you're on your period, right? This is your menstrual phase. So focusing in on getting those complex carbohydrates and really nourishing the body with our magnesium, our iron, our zinc, different things along those lines. And understanding that even your cravings are trying to tell you something, right? So maybe you get that chocolate craving or you get that ice cream craving. Your body's not really looking for the chocolate or the ice cream, but rather the nutrients within it. So it's looking for that vitamin D, that calcium. And during your follicular phase, so this is post-period, but pre-ovulation, right? Your body is really looking for more light and bright things like a smoothie or a green juice to help aid the liver in its own process of detoxification. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking syncing your life and your nutrition and your activity levels with your cycle.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting, and I like that you're talking about nutrition. So I think you've explained why I get the Pop-Tart cravings around that time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Pop-Tarts?
That's one of the foods that I crave. But I really love that. Really focusing on our nutrition, which I think is so helpful. Now, something else you say I think is really fascinating is you say to check your panties, and I really want to know, what are we supposed to be looking for in our undies here?
Yeah, so I always tell my clients to check their panties in the morning, specifically for their cervical fluid. So here's what's going on. Your ovulation is the main event of your menstrual cycle. And so when you're checking your cervical fluid, you want to look for something that looks like runny egg whites. If it looks like those runny egg whites, it has that consistency and that texture, what it's telling you is you're probably ovulating. So if you want to go and just go in and do all of the things, this is the time to do it. Why? Because your hormone levels are supporting your body in doing so. When, let's say, for instance, you're at a later point in your cycle, you might notice that there's no cervical fluid at all. So this could be an indication that you need to turn down the intensity of what it is that you're doing and the way that you're doing it, because your body is preparing to actually shed and get rid of that uterine lining. I mean, this whole idea and concept, we get to see it at a high level, especially in athletics with the U.S. women's soccer team. They have also utilized something such as this to help enhance that experience and the periodization of really what it means to be a menstruator and how it all comes back together at the end of the day.
Dr. Jen, I guess we can call it, not to be crude, panty reading, right? I mean,
yes,
there's a lot of information to be gleaned, and guys, I don't think you have to help out here with that end of it. You know, leave that too. But it is really helpful information. And Berrion, this really has been a great discussion.
Yes.
Thank you for shedding so much light on this topic.
Thank
so
you.
important. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Well, we'd love to have you back.